amazing. Is the G87 M2 behind me, make it something special.
I can't even really believe we're saying it, to be fair. It's a mammoth one, really. But we've got the G87 and we want to four-wheel drive convert it, and we want to go to Texas and make it one of the fastest BMWs in the world.
If you're new to this series, let me get you caught up. This is the R44 Performance G87 M2. We've teamed up with Tom Wrigley Performance to create an OEM X-Drive conversion, which is now powering all four wheels. Tom takes me on track and he showcases how capable the car is in four-wheel drive. But what are we going to do next? We're going to turn it into a full drag car, but with a show car twist. The car's been stripped, roll cage has been installed, and we teamed up with industry professionals based here in the UK. But in the most recent episode, we really focus on the heart of the car, the engine. It's been stripped, it's been skimmed, it's been sleeved, and we started to install forged internals. But it's now time to start the car and get on to the next episode. So come and enjoy it with me. All right, so we are cracking on with the M2 today, and Mr. Tillett has come. So Archie, it's great to see you. So give us a little bit who you are. Why are you Mr. Tillett?
Yeah, so my dad started the company back in 1986, so we're traditionally from karting, but in more recent years we've been trying to push the car stuff. So here we've got the BMW M Performance package. Hopefully it's going to fit straight into your M2, and then yeah, that'll be mint.
So if you don't know already, Tillett Racing Seats obviously comes from the karting game, which is quite cool because Tom has a karting track here, and that's where he grew up, on kart tracks. But you guys do seats for Lotuses,
yeah,
loads of other stuff. They're made a mixture of GRP and carbon fiber,
and
now obviously carbon being a big part of the industry. So yeah, these are, we'll talk us through these. I've got some Tillett seats in my F80 M3 track car. Enjoy them. They don't look comfortable, but they actually are quite comfortable, and I think that's down to the design style that you guys work with. But what are these? So let's unwrap them. As we're unwrapping them, you can explain.
Yeah, of course. So these are the B10 XLs. So this is really similar to what you've got, but just a slightly larger size. So we're finding these to be the most popular seat at the moment, just because they look the best in most cars, to be honest, and they fit a wide range of different bodies.
And then you've gone for the, so these are what, the goal of these at the moment, you're going to try and make a bit of like a turnkey solution to like aftermarket seats, I guess.
Yeah,
because
exactly, yeah.
When I got the F80 ones, they were a bit of a handful to get fitted up nicely.
Yeah.
Not that I can open them. It took a while to get them all sit, like the seat position done, and then I obviously just had normal Alcantara. So these are like it's quite cool because these match quite nicely with the M2 interior being a bit of M colour. Wow, they're actually really nice.
Yeah.
Talk us through them.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, B10 XLs, they are most popular seats, so we're trying to put them into most cars at the moment. Yeah, and as you said, we're going to do the package for it so it goes straight in, like I said, key fit. Weigh 4.6 kilos, so they're really light. But yeah, like I said, they don't look comfortable, but when you get into them, it's like your brain completely switches. So the way it works is normal seating, which you have in your normal bucket seats, is that you sat on two planes of foam, put all your weight on your bum, and all that happens is that the muscles in your spine are constantly contracting, trying to keep you upright. What these are doing is it's arching your lower back, so it's taking that weight and it's spraying it across your lower spine. So it just basically, it distributes the load better. You can feel the car a lot better as well. So it's, yeah, all around they improve the whole driving feel of the car.
Mate, and they're beautiful. And what I like about the B10s, because you obviously, a lot of the viewers might know like the B9 series, quite a good.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your most popular seat?
Probably this now.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
and that's like
a lot of this into the US massively.
The new design is so nice. Like your old school seats were very like thin in the higher section here, and they didn't have all this nice design on the back. And then obviously the new Tillett logo is new, right?
Yeah. So this is a new badge that we're now putting onto them, so it just completes it a bit from the back. But yeah, so this is my first sort of design seat. Principle behind it is we wanted to make it look good as well as feel good. So it was the first sort of seat that we thought we want to put it into cars to make it look the part as well as perform it.
That's beautiful, thank you. Yeah, well, let's. What we're going to do now is pull the car forward. Archie's brought some seat mounts, and what we're going to do is try and dial in the seats. 'Cause that's the hardest thing. What we're trying to help here is get Archie, get him close to that finishing goal, that you can buy a set of seats from us here at R44 at Tom's or through one of the other Tillett dealers around the world, and that you can literally take delivery of the seats, the mounts for the floor, bolt it in and drive it away straight away without having to play around too much. So let's pull the car forward and get these fitted.
What do you think to the angle? If you can imagine your legs a bit dropped.
Not too bad. Better than my F8, yes. Anything.
Yeah.
I'd just get in and drive it, lad. But yeah, it's quite comfy, isn't it? I feel quite warm. But I think maybe a bit lower.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we'll be on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to be inside here again. Wow, I have a lot of work to do. I want to put a R44 on the roof, PPF it. PPF. Quick hijack, I'm introducing Radium Engineering to this video to show you how we're gonna get all the power to that big engine. Of course, running this kind of power that we want to achieve with this car, we need to get fuel into that engine as quickly and as high, well, I guess quickly as possible, and as much kind of viscosity.
Run the right pressure.
Run the right pressure.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Stock fuel pumps are pretty limiting. You can probably get 800 to 1,000 out of them. You can upgrade the current motor, so you can change the motor inside it, which is what we're doing on like kind of 1,000 horsepower builds. But with this kind of level, we do not want to be limited by the fuel supply. Tom's previously run Radium Engineering on his own car, and he found it was really good. He was running with different kind of fuel pump setups, but this is going to be the killer setup. So I pulled Joe in. Joe's the man behind the mechanics here and working on the car. I want him to run through what we're doing, why we're doing it, and everything in between. So run us through. This is the stock fuel pump?
This is the stock fuel pump, and we'll run it in the tank stock on your car, which will feed the swirl pot here.
Yeah.
And then you'll have 3 additional fuel pumps in. One will be ran from ignition, so it run all the time, and then the other 2 will be ran off the motive for extra fuel pressure.
So we're gonna get this. So this is gonna go inside the stock fuel tank.
Be in the stock fuel tank.
Because the main thing is with Tom's car, he had like a 15-litre tank with a swirl pot, which worked great for drag racing. Obviously, reduced a lot of weight and kind of manage your fuel. But obviously, with this, we might want to go on a quick kind of B-road bash in the car on the roads in the States.
So you'll have your full OEM fuel tank, and then this is just additional. So
we've got this. This will then feed enough 2 litres of fuel at all times into the tank.
Yep.
Then from there, inside here, we're gonna have 3 motors. One's gonna be off ignition, 2 are gonna be run off the motive.
Yep.
So about half throttle, the motive will kind of kick in.
Extra fuel.
Obviously coming out of the surge tank, it comes out, it goes into the regulator.
Yeah, probably go filter first.
Oh, filter first, yeah.
Yep. And then it goes into the regulator. And then obviously in that line, there'll also be the ethanol sensor as well. So we need that for mic and the tuning and stuff. But yeah, obviously all these parts come together and make a
and then
really
obviously
fuel system. Yeah.
You're going from is that a normal fuel line?
Yeah, so that goes onto your pump.
Yeah.
Here. And
so we're increasing the old flow quite a large amount. So a big shout out to Radium. They make some amazing products. You know, their products aren't like designed for like the G8X. It's not like, oh, here's the G8X fuel system, but they have all the product line that you can park together. Quite a beastly system. Some people just get away with running like 2 pumps, but we just want to make sure that we are dialed safe, in really and safe for everything.
I mean, Tom's and we've already done the sort of development. Yeah. So we found out we've done we've gone up the ladder instead of just jumping straight to this. So
you waste a lot of time.
When you want a 1500 horsepower, you know what to do straight away.
Yeah. And injectors, we're going to run the normal port inject. We're going to run port injection.
Stock DI, yeah.
Yeah, and 2,600 cc injectors. So a lot of fuel spraying. But anyways, let's get the car up in the air and let's get wrenching. It's delivery day, Tom. What's this? The ECU back from Femto. So if you don't know, if you need to map or any tuning on a G8X platform, it has to go to one company we don't know where they are. But Femto and MHD Plus, so that means we can do, we can control the motif from the ECU and from the DME, and we can do things like anti-lag and things like that. So Big Tom on the mapping, 2 ECUs. There's the boy. So we'll get that back in. Now the goal for today, as you can see Dylan behind us, we've got no inlet manifold, so that needs to be installed. ECU goes back in and we can finally power up the car after it's done its running in miles. And We're waiting for the charge pipe to come back. The haunted flange has got us again. So once that's all done, fingers crossed, we're ready to go. So make or break time. I just drove to Germany to collect the Alpha N parts. It's Saturday, 6 p.m. and there's 2 parts that I really need for the styling of this build. We have arrived, so we are just minutes away from Alpha N. Thankfully, we're 3 minutes away from Alpha N. So let's roll up, let's see what it is. I believe this is their warehouse, so we're gonna see. All right, so we have arrived at 7 a.m. and we are Alpha N Performance, collecting the goods. Let's go have a look what they have in store for the G87 M2. All right, so as you can see, they've got quite a nice little showroom space. All right, so these are the parts for the G87. So these are the we've gone for the V4 fenders. As you can see, they're in a raw finish. So they've just come out the mold, they've been prepped, maybe they've trimmed them, they've put the returns on, but they will need painting. So we'll show you that. That'll be Monday morning's first drop. We'll head to the paint shop and drop them off. So it's the V4 fenders, which will then have these additions. So these are the louvres, which will be bonded on to the inside. We then have these, which will be something like this, maybe, other way around, like that. So they're bolted and are stuck on. And then we have the centerpiece, we have another fender, and then we have the hood. And there's 2 options for the hoods. You can do the one that we've got, which will open up later, and then you can put these inside it. So they're pre-cut to have some kind of ventilation, which will be good to kind of reduce heat inside the engine bay. Or there's another option where it's closed and it's completely sealed. It's just open in the middle piece. But I think these are going to be key when you've got a massive turbocharger there. And then Alex has given us these 2 things, which will open when we're with the car on Monday to see what they are. But I believe they are aerodynamic pieces for the front of the car. But it's a nice little collection of pieces. We're going to get them in the car and start heading towards London and get them painted tomorrow. All right, so the deal's done. So a big shout out to Alpha N. It's 7 a.m. So a big shout out to Alex and a big thank you for coming out on your Sunday morning. That's it, we're back at the Channel Crossing. We're just waiting to get boarded back on. We've got the parts, same 24 hours, and we're on time. Hopefully we depart in the next 15 minutes and we'll get home for lunch. So yeah, thanks again guys. We'll see you in the next phase of this video. Tom just told me that we might not be able to.
Dylan before you went.
Dylan, yeah, Tom told Dylan last week that he doesn't recommend buying the bonnet because it might not fit with the turbo, or just check.
Just check first.
But Dylan forgot that key information because he was too happy. So Dylan's gonna have to sell the bonnet. But we're gonna try, because of the turbo, the size of the turbo, it fits nicely in here. So hopefully the Alpha N's even thinner and we have nothing to worry about. Side door maybe, which is not too bad.
So what are these bits? These
That's the little...
The louvers.
Yes.
That's light, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just... We're chilling.
Specifically. You're off the hook, Dylan.
Off the hook, Dill.
Big time.
Wow. This is how you get the whooshy, whoosh whoosh. Give that a hold. Ooh. Fresh delivery from DHL. All right, so we've now just had our delivery from CSF for all the radiator packs to the car. So we've already got the inlet manifold that came in with the turbo, and then these came in separately. So this is, we should have an oil cooler, a transmission cooler, and a front radiator. Open this boy up. The best thing about these, they're obviously increased flow, better quality, but the key, and they're black, so they look nice, but they do also have rock guards as well. So for people, not that I'm going to be driving on the road much, for the people that drive on the road. All right, so this is the front radiator. Got a bit of a silver one, lad. Beautiful, look at that. So a big shout out to CSF as always, or FSC. There you go. Look at that, with the rock guard pre-installed. Oil cooler will go in front of that. It's gonna look pretty saucy. We've got the stat, I think this is the transmission cooler, isn't it, Joe? Yep. So we've got the transmission cooler there. It's gonna go something like that. And that's gonna stack up nicely and look beautiful. What's happening, guys? So we're just going to run you through the Radium setup on this car. Obviously you've seen the surge tank up above, but let's show you what it looks like underneath. You've obviously got the normal tank. So it's a saddle tank. You've got a left and a right hand side, and there's a sender unit sending across. So we retain that then goes, pumps into the surge tank. The surge tank then comes down through here, comes all the way through, nicely routed in a nice diameter size fuel lines, comes to an ethanol sensor. That then gives us some data to map off of. We then have a filter here and then the regulator. From the regulator, it goes up into the engine bay, into the high pressure fuel pumps, and then serves all the injectors. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty cool. It's really nicely done by the guys at Tom Wrigley Performance. It looks neat, and yeah, it's ideal. Let's cut to Tom.
We have the Radium system all installed on the car now. This is a slightly different system to what we've done in the past. So this has basically got a surge tank in the back which holds the pumps, but will remain the OEM fuel tank. So essentially the OEM fuel tank will feed fuel up into the surge tank, and within the surge tank we then have the 3 big pumps which are then going to power all the fuel up to the engine and give us the flow that we need for this big horsepower build. So this is my own G80. It runs Radium system again, but slightly different. So this actually has a proper fuel cell, and within the fuel cell is the surge tank. Downside to this setup is the volume of fuel. I mean, this fuel will only hold like 15 to 20 litres of fuel volume total, but essentially we only use it for drag racing, so that's more than enough to get us down the quarter mile. With Reese's one, he still remains his full 50 odd litres of fuel within his OEM fuel tank, so that then gives him plenty of range. The other advantage of us doing this setup is that weight saving and simplicity underneath the car. We've got everything in the boot, so if there's ever an issue, we can just go straight to it and fix it immediately. Obviously, with the mileage Reese's M2 is going to be doing though, he needs a bit more volume, just otherwise it's going to run out of fuel really fast. So it's going to be constantly filling it up. Like I said, this will not take much fuel and it uses it pretty fast. You've just seen the first startup now with the fuel system on. We did some bench testing to make sure it all works, so that's all good. We're now going to strap it on the dyno just for our initial runs for the car, because it's the first time we'll be putting a little bit more strain through it. Obviously it had some initial running miles, but this is kind of the phase 2 of the running miles, what we do. So we're putting a little bit more boost through it, a little bit more energy through the car. I would take it on the road, but unfortunately we're short on some windows still. But it is what it is. It's not a bad thing. We can do some miles on the dyno. Safe, tested environment, and keep an eye on all the temperatures, pressures, keep a visual eye on everything. Obviously this car has completely been transformed from what it originally was. So yeah, we're going to get some runs in now. Mike sent us over a base file, so that'll basically, with it being a very similar setup to my own car, we've got a good idea on how the cams and everything work. But turbo kit, so it's nice and clear of fault, and we're going to get some running miles done now and see how we get on.
everybody, welcome back to the R44 channel.
Biscuit fingers have broken the VHS player. I only wanted to watch Terminator.
16 Volkswagen Crafter recovery truck for sale. Is it still available? Give me 20 till 9:30, I'll give you a call. Is what I'm trying to say, is this thing is amazing.